Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Jimmy Dore Show. I'm here with the Miserable Liberal and Ron Placone. Hey, hey.
Cheers, Steph.
Cheers, Ron.
Oh, look at those great, fantastic T-shirts and mugs. You can get them all right down there at our store. Thanks for helping support the show. Today we're talking about the Unity Commission for the Democratic Party. They finished. They got some recommendations. And over at HuffPo, they say they're historic. Historic reforms. That's what they say. So let's get into what are the reforms. Well, the committee is recommending the effective abolition of some 60% of superdelegates to the presidential nominating convention.
Wow.
So that sounds great, right?
Yeah.
And
It sounded even greater if it was 100.
Yes, right.
But
How they
start to
compromised on
start.
60.
so here's what they've decided to do. So 60% they're going to get rid of the superdelegates, keep 40%, but another rule says those 40% of superdelegates have to vote the way the populace in their state votes. So there's no point to the superdelegates anymore, it doesn't seem. What I'm thinking is going to happen is when this goes to the Rules and Bylaws Committee, they're not going to agree to this. They'll agree to the 60% reduction, but not where that they have to vote with the people. That's just I could be wrong about that, but why do it like that? Why take the 60% off? Why not just 100% off? Everyone knows superdelegates are bullshit. They're anti-democratic. They don't make any sense. The reason why superdelegates were invented was to make sure that popular people who were popular with grassroots people in the party didn't get elected, like people like Bernie Sanders. That's why they were invented. So there's no point to them. The Republicans don't have them. Can you imagine if Republicans had superdelegates, how much we would rip them for it? So I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense that they're doing that, which makes me not have a lot of faith in this Unity Reform Commission. But who knows? Who knows? We don't know. So here's more. From Huffington Post, it says it has also presented a set of measures designed to increase accessibility to presidential primaries and caucuses, as well as reforms aimed at opening up DNC budgetary and administrative processes to greater scrutiny through, among other things, the creation of an ombudsman council. It's a nice word, ombudsman. So the problem was nobody knew where the money was being spent. Only the chair, or even Don in Brazil, didn't know a lot where some of the money was being spent. Isn't that something? So there's no transparency at the DNC with their money, which is why state chairs at the Democratic Party at the state level were screaming, we're not getting any money. So all that money was going towards the presidential campaigns. Hillary Clinton was taking all that money for herself. She didn't give a shit about down ballot races. So now they've recommended the creation of an ombudsman council to oversee, because even the officers of the DNC weren't aware of where the money was going. Can you believe that? That's how corrupted the DNC is. The Unity Reform Commission members propose binding all but the highest subset of superdelegates to the choice. Okay, we did that. Former presidents, former vice presidents, former DNC chairs, as well as sitting members of Congress and sitting governors would retain their superdelegate privileges under the proposal. So my theory is they're going to get rid of those 60%, but these people are not. They're going to be be able to vote for whoever they want. I think that's what's going to happen. We'll see what happens. We don't even know. So now all this, by the way, goes to the Rules and Bylaws Committee, then has to be voted on again by the 400 members of the DNC. And that's probably not going to happen until right before the 2018 midterms. So this isn't even going to get put in place, probably not until right before, even if it does get put in place, until right before the 2018 midterms. And then if it doesn't get put in place, it's right before the 2018 midterms, and it's too late. So again, this is just, it doesn't give me a lot of good feelings about what's happening. There's a little bit more.
Can I just add?
Yes.
When I look at that superdelegate phrase, it sounds to me like they get to retain their superdelegate
Privileges.
privileges.
Abuse privileges. That's a good way to put it, Steph.
Yeah, well, and privileges sounds a lot nicer than their ability to not give a shit what the voter thinks. It's much more delicate.
Yes. The commission proposal would require state parties to allow voters to register for the first time or switch party affiliations on the same day of the caucus and submit absentee ballots by mail, as well as ensure that the use of written ballots to confirm the accuracy of results. So they can't really make them like the New York primary. That's the one everyone's crazy about. because you have to register like about 4 years ahead of time if you want to vote in the Democratic primary. So that's why Bernie Sanders didn't win in New York, because 3 million independents weren't allowed to vote for him, who would have joined the Democratic Party. Probably. We pride ourselves on being inclusive and welcoming to all. The Democratic National Committee proclaimed anew at the start of this month, touting the commission's meeting as open to the public. This is from Norman Solomon, by the way. So he wrote this.
We welcome everybody, unless you're a nurse that wants to give people health care.
Ha! Then
you're not
shut up
welcome.
and get the F out.
Mm-hmm.
Yet the DNC delayed and obscured information about the meeting, never replying to those who filled out an online RSVP form, thus leaving them in the dark about the times of the meeting. In short, the DNC went out of its way to suppress public turnout rather than facilitate it.
What a surprise.
It called for reducing the number of notoriously undemocratic superdelegates to the National Convention from 712 to about 300, while the only Democratic number would be 0. That's what we just said. So this is Norman's on the same page as we are. It's somewhat improved transparency for often dubious DNC contracts with high-paid consultants and vendors, while defeating sensible amendments by Commission member Nomiki Konst, who spoke with notable clarity about the need to clamp down on financial conflicts of interest among DNC decision makers. Now, I understand that they went ahead and caved to Nomi on that, and they recommended an ombudsman to overlook the budget. So I don't know about that, but I don't know about the veracity of that part of Norman's article, but how did both of you feel about this?
Okay, so when the whole idea about clamp down on financial conflicts, well, wasn't it Barack Obama who continued to allow his independent contractors in the DNC to be consultants
Yes,
to be
he
paid?
did.
So
Yes.
if you're going to clamp down on financial conflicts, really, you're going to clamp down on the president of the United States and the use of those funds? Is that possible?
Steffi, I hear what you're saying. So you're saying a DNC chair is supposed to override the president? That's what you're saying? Oh, so they're saying they're going to have
The DNC
rules.
chair that probably the president tapped on the
Right.
shoulder and picked.
But
Come on.
if the president is a Democrat, the president is then the head of the party. So
So I'm supposed to plan on Tom Perez being.
I know, Steph. I don't have a lot of hope for these people.
Okay. So that was my impression, that when I see this, that they're able to clamp down on financial conflicts. It's an impossibility.
Well, Tom Perez leads with his values, one trip to the bank at a time.
Oh, you're right.
Always.
You're right,
Oh,
Ron.
I wish I would love to ask him if he's going to put his values on the ballot.
I just think it's so sad that like these things that we're asking for is in some big reform, and even it is too much. Hey, can we have an actual democratic process? These
Yes!
superdelegates are completely undemocratic. Oh, let us keep 300 of them. All right, let us just cheat a little bit. Hey,
a great
you need to be
compromise.
transparent about where the money in the party is going. Oh, never thought of that. I
Yeah,
mean,
never thought about
it's
that.
so sad that these obvious things are in a reform commission.
Yeah, like
because
someone
they
had-
have to be.
Yeah, and that you have to convince people to go along with you on this stuff.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy. Like the fact that the Democrats just don't know off the top. Get rid of the super fucking delegates. What are you doing? That's ridiculous. But they go, yeah, but they have to vote with the people anyway. Then just get rid of them. Because the appearance is horrible. Am I wrong about that?
No, you're totally right. I mean, it reminds me of like a South Park episode.
Yes.
Like it reminds me just like, well, how about we just not cheat? Like, what do you mean not cheat? What do you mean not cheat? What do you get her out of here?
Ron, breaking it down. All right, well. There
And I have to add one more thing. As
Sure.
I review that, and it says DNC contracts with high-paid consultants and vendors, and the result is we lost. So who hired these vendors? Who hired these consultants that allowed us to lose? So if the game isn't rigged enough already, I don't see the DNC. I really appreciate Nomiki, but I just don't see progress. I don't see change. I see more of the same. And really, they're going to be suddenly transparent. It's not going to happen.
I really, fingers crossed, but Just why do they got to drag this out until next fall, by the way? Like, why not just vote on it next week? What are you waiting for?
Well, they have a midterm to lose.
So I know there's a lot of people who feel good about this. I don't. It just sounds stupid. And the fact that it's not even, that sounds dumb that you're going to keep superdelegates even though, but they're going to be deballed. But then why keep them? Why? Because we want to give the appearance that we're not democratic. We want to give the appearance that the elites control our primary. We want to give the appearance of it. Why would you want to do that? Right? Isn't that stupid?
And did we get any kind of information that clarified how they decided on that number of 300?
No.
And
I don't know.
which 300 are going to be picked?
So
How democratic?
I know how they are.
Eeny, meeny,
No, I
miny?
know. They're going to be governors, senators, congressmen. That's who's going to be left. Yeah. Mayors.
Oh, okay. So Howard Dean, he's gone? Would Howard Dean finally be gone?
It seems to me that Howard Dean would finally be gone, but he was a former DNC chair, so maybe they make a special carve-out and they keep him to be a superdelegate, even though they... So now, again, these are just suggestions. It's not, they have to go now to the bylaws committee, rules and bylaws committee. They have to approve it and turn, I bet they, and then it has to be voted on one more time. So we're far away from any of this stuff being implemented. So everybody's high-fiving themselves, or a lot of people are, not everybody, a lot of people are. And we're way away from this happening. The Rules and Bylaws Committee could say, okay, we'll reduce the superdelegates by 60%, but the remaining 40% aren't bound. They're unpledged. They can vote any way they want. Okay? Okay. There's our compromise. We gave you half. We got rid of 60% of them. That's more than half. Aren't you happy? I have a feeling that's what's going to happen. I hope I'm wrong. If you are opposed to the idea of superdelegates, just get rid of them. Okay. Well, we'll see. Again, I don't see how the donor class is going to let go of Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. I don't see Wall Street letting go of them. I don't see their interests being yanked away from Big Pharma or the military-industrial complex. Do you see? I mean, did the Unity Reform Committee talk anything about, hey, how would Elizabeth Warren vote for that bullshit Pentagon budget with an extra $80 billion, enough to put everybody through college? How does that happen? So even all this stuff, even our most progressive person in the Senate in the Democratic Party is still a puppet of the military-industrial complex when all is said and done. Right?
Well, yeah, and if they really wanted, like, true reform, like everybody involved really wanted true reform, they didn't even need to meet and discuss things. The yes men handed them everything they needed.
Yes.
They could have just consulted that video and been like, okay, we're going to do this for real now.
Yeah. So, by the way, I did find out, I talked with Nomi, and she did advise me that although in February the DNC voted to start taking lobbyist money again, that there was Barack Obama put in a rule where you couldn't do that. They got rid of that. Then they reinstated it just recently, this fall. I just found this out. I didn't even know this. So apparently the rule that Barack Obama had implemented, you can't take lobbying money at the DNC, has been reinstated. I didn't know that. So now I know it, and so now you know it. Okay, that's nice. Why would you do that to yourselves? Why would the DNC? Why would you have a whole summer of losing races and people knowing you're corrupted and people know, you know what I mean? You're taking lobbyist money and then you know what? Let's get rid of it. Anyway, okay. So fingers crossed. I'm much more left than the Democratic Party. It's much too slow change for me. But you know, again, this seems like less than a half measure. It really does. Because there's no way they can guarantee that the primaries will be opened. There's no way that they can do that.
Mm-mm.
And that's what really needs to happen. Anyway, okay, we'll see. Again, they haven't even voted. These are just recommendations from a unity commission. This hasn't been implemented. So now we have to even see if this gets implemented. In the meantime, the Democrats are still wiped out coast to coast. Please make sure you subscribe. We get emails every day, people telling us they're unsubscribed from our show. So make sure, even if you think you are, click subscribe, and then click that bell so you get a notice when we drop videos. And if you can become a patron to help support the show, or buy a mug or a T-shirt, that's a great way to help support. We'll see our next live show is December 18th. That's a Monday in Hollywood. Thanks for your support.